Hi everyone, this is Alex. I'm going to be going over a quick demo of our Alexa skill that we made. I'm also going to go over the code of the skill, and I'm going to go over the file structure real quick. So the skill that we made is called Trivia Night. It's exactly what it sounds like. It's a trivia game, where you get 3 questions, and these questions are going to be random. The questions are going to be taken out of a trivia database that I'll be showing you later, and it's just an API, and we just use GET requests from the API to retrieve that data. Okay, so let me go through the code real quick. So here's the Lambda function. We've got our imports and we've got our trivia. So this trivia class is where we're going to actually be grabbing the questions, and I'm going to go over that in a second. But for now, let's just focus on Lambda function. So we've got our different handlers, right? All of these handlers are meant to receive requests and then reply with a response. So our request object is going to be called handler input. This is going to have all the context of what the user says. So if the user provides some sort of specific intent, it's going to trigger one of these handlers, and we're going to get an answer that goes back to our Alexa device. And the Alexa device says it out loud. So we've got our launch request, right? Like we said earlier, we could say start the quiz, or open trivia night. This will launch this intent, and it'll say welcome to trivia night, right? We've got the speak output. Welcome to trivia night. You need to answer 3 true or false questions. And at the end of this, we're going to return a response object. So all of these handle methods are going to return response objects. We also have another method in these classes called canHandle. This returns a Boolean and it's just a check to see whether or not the intent is actually able to be handled. So for the trivia game intent, again, the canHandle is very similar. It's just checking the name of the intent. But the handle method is where all the logic is. So we earlier talked about session attributes. So the session attributes here is all the data, all the context of the game. So it's kind of like the game states, and we're going to store it in sort of a map fashion. So session attributes is actually a map. So we're grabbing that map from the request object, the handler input, and we're going to be assigning some new keys and new values. And then we're going to have to restore this map that we changed back into the session attributes. That's what that code is for. And then we're going to grab the question. So grabbing the question is going to be handled by a class that I made called Trivia. I'm going to take a look at that in a second. So to get the question, we head over to Trivia. And this is simply a class that calls, gets a request. Calls a GET request from the URL that we give in. So the URL that we're passing in is from a website. It's from a database, a trivia database website. Here it is. Let me just refresh this. And basically all you do is you specify what number of questions you want, what category you want, the difficulty, and the type, so multiple choice or true or false, and then it generates a URL. So this is going to be our API endpoint. We just copy this, and we can just use that and make a GET request to it, and that GET request is going to give us a response that has all of our questions. Right. Next, we have trivia answer intent. So this intent is meant for getting our answer to the question, and then also posting the next question. So it's very similar. We still grab the attributes, the session attributes as earlier. We're going to grab the answer, right, from the key, correct answer, and we're also going to access the slots. So as we talked about before, I think the slots are going to be kind of defined for what the user enters as the parameters. So in this case, it's going to be true or false. So we're going to grab the slots. We're going to check if the slot key called answer is in slots. If it's not, that means the person didn't actually reply with any answer, or Alexa didn't detect any answers, any answer slots. And basically, we're going to check whether or not that user answer is the same as the actual answer. And if it is, it's going to say your answer is correct, and it's going to say if it was true or false, and it's also going to update the quiz score. Otherwise, it's going to say it's incorrect. Okay, and that's it. And after that, we're going to check the states. We're going to see if the quiz is over yet. If it is over, we're going to say that's the end of trivia night, and we're going to give the user the score that they got. And we're also going to set the session to be over. and that'll close the session out. Otherwise, we're going to get the next question, right? We call get next question again, right? And then we create our speech, and then we create our response. And this loop happens again where we call the trivia answer intent all over again. And that's it. So that's all the code. Now I'm going to be showing you a quick demo of the actual Trivia Night skill working in action. Alexa, open Trivia Night.
Welcome to Trivia Night. You need to answer 3 true or false questions. Say start the game to begin the quiz.
Start the game.
The category is computer science. Question number 1. The logo for Snapchat is a bell.
True?
Your answer was incorrect.
Oh, man.
It was false. Question number 2. Windows NT is a monolithic kernel.
False.
Your answer was correct. It was false. Question number 3. Early RAM was directly seated onto the motherboard and could not be easily removed.
Let's go with true.
Your answer was correct. It was true. That's the end of Trivia Night. Your score was 2 out of 3.